When I found my daughter's wheelchair sitting alone in our backyard, empty, muddy, and covered in scratch marks, I knew something was terribly wrong. The security cameras had been cut. Her drawings were trampled. And then I saw the shallow patch of freshly turned dirt. My blood froze. My disabled daughter had been buried alive. And the woman who did it, the HOA president, had no idea that I'm not just a single father. I'm a federal agent trained to hunt monsters like her. My name is Ethan Blackwell, and for most of my adult life, I've served the country as an FBI field agent. But after my wife passed away in a hit-and-run accident, and my daughter Mia was left permanently paralyzed, I stepped away to give her the life she deserved. Hillview Estates looked perfect. Quiet. Clean. Safe. A gated community with big trees, kids playing, and neighbors who smiled and waved. Mia loved it right away. She pointed from her wheelchair toward the community garden. "Mia, Daddy, can we plant flowers? Purple ones?" Her voice was excited but soft, she still struggled to speak confidently. I knelt beside her. "We'll plant every color you want." But we weren't alone. A woman stood across the cul-de-sac watching us sharply. Mid-50s, tight curls, pearl necklace, the type who looked like she'd scold a cloud for raining. Her name, as I found out later, was Karen Holloway, the HOA president. And she was a nightmare wearing perfume. It started small. The next morning, I found a neon notice taped to Mia's wheelchair ramp. Ramp not PRE approved. HOA violation. Remove immediately. I frowned and knocked on Karen's door. She opened it with the fakest smile I'd ever seen. "Karen, we don't allow unapproved structures. They disrupt the aesthetic." "It's a disability ramp." "Legally." "Karen, interrupting. Oh, don't get dramatic. Rules are rules." Her eyes flicked to Mia sitting quietly in her chair. "Karen, and children with medical conditions should avoid being outside alone. It makes people uncomfortable." I clenched my jaw. She's not a condition. She's my daughter." Karen rolled her eyes and shut the door in my face. I wanted to report her immediately. But I told myself to stay calm, for Mia. I had no idea how dark things would get. Within a week, Karen became obsessed with us. 1. The ramp destruction. One morning, the ramp had been ripped apart. Screws scattered. Wood splintered. Mia stared at it quietly, fear in her eyes. "Mia, did I do something wrong?" Never. You did nothing wrong." 2. The HOA inspection. Karen and 2 board members barged into our yard. "Karen, this yard is not ADA approved. The toys, the chalk drawings, they lower property values." She pointed to Mia's pink sidewalk chalk drawings of butterflies. "Karen, these scribbles need to be power washed." Mia's lip trembled. She loved drawing butterflies. I stepped between them. If you ever speak to my daughter like that again." "Karen, what?" "You'll do what? Isn't anger management required for federal people like you?" My heart stopped. How did she know I used to work for the federal government? She smirked. "Karen, I do my research." Something in her eyes wasn't prejudice, it was obsession. It was a Friday. Mia loved Fridays because it was garden day. She'd sit outside drawing butterflies while I trimmed the hedges. Everything was peaceful. Then the power went out. At first, I thought nothing of it. But then I heard it, my daughter's scream. "Mia, Daddy! Daddy, help!" I dropped the hedge clippers and sprinted. But as soon as I stepped into the yard, something hit me. Silence. The yard was empty. Her wheelchair lay on its side near the garden bed. One wheel still spinning. My heart stopped. MIA. Mia. Then I saw them. Small drag marks in the dirt. A smashed butterfly chalk drawing. And a broken charm bracelet that I had given her, the one with tiny silver butterflies. That's when I noticed the security cameras. Cut. Wires severed. That wasn't an accident. This was planned. My breath caught when I saw the patch of freshly disturbed soil behind the shed. A small mound. Too small for an adult. Too uneven for landscaping. My blood froze. Me, shouting MIA. I dropped to my knees and clawed at the dirt with my bare hands. My fingers hit roots. Pebbles. Then something soft, cloth. I dug faster, frantically. Then I heard it. A muffled sound. A weak cry. Mia, muffled Daddy. Daddy. My heart shattered. She was alive. I tore through the last layer of soil until her face appeared pale, streaked with mud, tears mixing with the dirt. Her eyes fluttered open. Mia, I couldn't breathe. Tied. Duct tape around her arms. She had been buried alive. I pulled her out gently, covered her with my jacket, checked for pulse and oxygen. She gasped, coughing up dirt. Me, I'm here. Daddy's here. I've got you. Her tiny hand grabbed my shirt with desperate strength. Mia, don't let her get me again. My veins filled with fire. I knew exactly who her was. Karen. This wasn't HOA harassment. This wasn't bullying. This was attempted murder. I carried Mia into the house and grabbed my phone. But this wasn't a job for regular police. This was a federal case now. I opened a locked drawer. Inside was my badge. My federal credentials. My weapon. For the first time in years. I put them back on. Me, narrating you buried the wrong child, Karen. I called in a favor. Within minutes, 3 black SUVs and 4 agents arrived at my home. Agent Ramirez, Ethan, you said emergency. What happened? I stepped aside, revealing Mia covered in dirt, trembling, barely able to speak. Ramirez's expression turned dark. Ramirez, who did this? Me, HOA president. Karen Holloway. The agents exchanged a look. Ramirez, then let's end this. Karen was hosting an HOA meeting in her home when the FBI arrived. She was standing at the front of her living room, lecturing homeowners about neighborhood purity. Karen, some people just don't belong here. They bring down the value. The door burst open. 4 agents stormed in. Agent, federal agents. Don't move. Karen shrieked, holding her pearls. Karen, excuse me, you can't, this is private property. I stepped in behind them. Her eyes widened in horror. Karen, you. This is harassment. This is. I slammed the evidence onto her table. The cut camera wires. The drag marks photos. The soil samples. Mia's ripped bracelet. The medical report. And the footage from the neighbor's hidden wildlife cam showing Karen dragging Mia behind the shed. Karen's face turned sheet white. Karen, and no, that's not, that child is a liar. She lies to get attention. Me, she's 12. She's paralyzed. And she's terrified of you. Karen's lip quivered, not with guilt, but with rage. Karen, I was cleansing the neighborhood. Your daughter is a burden. A disease on this community. The room fell silent. Even the HOA board members looked sick. I stepped closer. Me, you buried my daughter alive. Pause. And now I'm burying your freedom. Agent Ramirez read her rights as she screamed and kicked, her pearls snapping and scattering across the floor like white tears. Karen was charged with attempted murder, kidnapping, child endangerment, trespassing, tampering with evidence. Her face made national news within hours. Neighbors came to our house with flowers, stuffed animals, and apologies. Many confessed they had been bullied by Karen for years. One elderly man whispered, Neighbor, she almost ran me over once, but we were all too scared to speak.
Mia slowly recovered. Therapy, oxygen support, weeks of gentle reassurance.
One night, as I tucked her in, she looked up at me.
Mia, Daddy, will she come back?
I brushed her hair softly.
Me, no, sweetheart. She'll never hurt anyone again.
She relaxed, gripping her butterfly pillow.
Mia, I knew you'd find me.
A tear slipped down my cheek.
Me, always. There are monsters in this world. Some wear masks. Some hide behind rules.
Some pretend to be leaders. But when someone harms the innocent, especially a child, heroes rise.
Parents rise.
And sometimes, even retired FBI agents rise again. I moved to give my daughter a peaceful life.
And now, she finally has one.
Because real justice doesn't come from fear or power, it comes from love.